Joe, 100%. Everybody had him as our guy, and for him to be there for us and just kind of fill out that room was a great blessing.
So it's been a solid 24 hours for the Ravens, with the team getting flowers and reaching a deal with Lamar Jackson. The 5-year deal will make Lamar the highest paid player in the NFL and keep him in Baltimore through the 2027 season. So how does the Celtics-Hawks playoff series tie into all of this? Boston fan Eric DaCosta explains.
Just as Trae Young hit that bomb, I got a text from Lamar that said, basically, I think we can get a deal done. You know, we're getting close. And I said back to him, Lamar, you just saved my night.
Well, the power of sports and basketball bringing Eric DaCosta and Lamar Jackson together. You gotta love it. Rounds 2 and 3 get underway tonight. The Ravens, they only have one pick barring any trades. That's pick 86 in that third round. We'll have updates coming up tonight on Sports Unlimited. For now, live in Owings Mills, Rocco DeSangro for Sports Unlimited.
It's been a very, very rainy day, and the rain will continue overnight and into tomorrow morning. But as we head into the afternoon, we dry out, staying mostly cloudy. Temperatures will reach the 60s, then that's followed by more rain on Sunday, along with the potential for storms. Temperatures again reaching the mid to upper 60s, but dry weather will follow. I'll let you know the timing of the rain and how much we could see coming up in my Weather Authority forecast in about 20 minutes. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6 o'clock, some key concerns over failing test scores not addressed at a city hearing last night. The frustration from a political analyst who says local leaders weren't asking the right questions. Another flyer advertising a possible mass gathering of teens in Baltimore. The concerns over a planned flash mob at Mondawmin Mall as the city prepares to implement a curfew.
The City Council's education hearing falling short on addressing some key concerns. We pressed school officials to answer some of our unanswered questions. And we're just weeks away from the city's new youth curfew, how officers are feeling as they're tasked with keeping the peace.
It's gonna be fun.
Zay Flowers officially taking his spot on the Baltimore Ravens. We have fan reactions seeing how you feel about the team's number 22 overall pick.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Maxine Stryker. Tonight, we're continuing to track the weather maker that's hitting us right now, bringing rain and wind along with it. You're taking a live look around our region, including live pictures from our Fox 45 Chevy Storm Tracker. You should get ready to keep your umbrellas, your raincoats, and boots out. It's looking like the rain is here to stay through the weekend. Let's get over to meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with the first check of the forecast.
Thanks, Maxine. It's been such a gray and gloomy Friday, and unfortunately, the rain continues overnight and into tomorrow. Right now, we're looking at the HD radar, and you can see that rain pushing toward the northeast. We've got some areas of moderate to heavy rain in that yellow, pushing closer to the state line. But still, we expect showers to continue over the next several hours, and that means that if you have any plans, you will want to make sure that you drive safely and have the rain gear handy. We've already seen over half an inch across many locations, greater than 1 inch in Frederick, and we expect this rainfall to continue. The totals will increase over the next several hours as we deal with more rain. We'll gradually see the rain taper tomorrow morning, but then on Sunday, we've got another round of rain and storms adding on to the rain totals for the weekend. Then by Monday, we finally return to drier weather. Coming up, I'll have a look at the timing of the rain and just how much we're expecting to see in my full forecast. Back to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. You can use the free WBFF Weather Authority app to see exactly when the rain will move out in your area. Just go to your app store and search for WBFF to get started. A city council hearing last night regarding troubling math scores in city schools falling short on key issues. The hearing was called in response to a Project Baltimore investigation that found in nearly 24 city schools, 0 students tested proficient in math. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor pressed officials for answers on the questions that were not asked last night.
Yeah, as our students continue to struggle, some say our city leaders aren't doing enough to hold city schools accountable.
Over the course of a nearly 2 hours long hearing where alarming math scores was meant to be the main subject among the many questions asked.
I feel a lot of anxiety and concern about particularly safety.
Talk about math only entering the equation.
0 in math, how do we change that?
So how are you all addressing that immediate need?
Math is still a complicated subject.
I'm going to switch back to math now.
A handful of times.
My thought was same old, same old.
Political analyst John Deedy criticizing the questions asked by members of the city council, many of which
We've had a bad couple of months for adolescents in our city as it relates to violence.
surrounded student safety, summer programs, and broad discussions about issues inside city schools.
They didn't bear down on it because they don't have an answer to the problem. And, you know, it's always like, well, let's spend more money. Let's have more tutors. And the thing is, we've seen that hasn't really solved the problem at all.
Deedy calling it a missed opportunity to demand new solutions. Meanwhile, City Schools CEO Dr. Sonia Santelises is blaming pandemic-related learning loss. To close the gap, she says city schools have bolstered tutoring opportunities and strengthened after-school programs. However, the effectiveness of those steps has yet to be assessed. Fox 45 sending city schools the questions Deedy says city leaders should have been requesting themselves, asking, when were those steps implemented and how will you measure whether they're working? How long until math scores are expected to improve? And who do you hold accountable? We've received no response.
Unfortunately, they don't want to address the elephant in the room, and they really should have focused on it more.
Deedy adds not only was a majority of the conversation off topic, the conversation itself was long overdue. Fox 45's Project Baltimore investigation uncovering 23 city schools with 0 students testing proficient in math nearly 3 months ago.
I think they lack a sense of urgency, and I have no idea why they're not doing something except for the fact of they don't have a clue what to do.
Councilman Stokes says he'll hold a similar hearing with the School Board of Commissioners. However, a date for that hearing has yet to be set. In Baltimore City, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Well, in addition to the poor scores, how those results have been reported is also raising questions. As we told you earlier this week, the Maryland Department of Education recently removed those test results from its website, hiding the data from the public. The state tells Project Baltimore the changes to the 2022 state testing data were made to protect student privacy. However, some are still calling it a cover-up. Today, the Maryland Public Policy Institute sending a letter to the Maryland Inspector General for Education calling for an investigation into the missing data.
We called on the Inspector General to act because something is rotten at MSDE. The Department of Education is hiding something, and we don't know why they're hiding this data and what it indicates about what else they could be hiding.
The Maryland Public Policy Institute sent a similar letter in 2021 regarding Fox 45's coverage of ghost students. Those calls were met with an investigation that uncovered millions of misused tax dollars. And just yesterday, Governor Wes Moore told Fox 45 News he was not made aware by MSD or State Superintendent Mohammed Chaudhry that the data concerning those failing math scores was being changed before it happened.
Governor Moore, did you know that the State Department of Education was going to be redacting the test scores? Do you support that decision, especially when it comes to Baltimore City schools, many of which we know are doing very poorly? 23 schools had 0 students proficient in math.
No, we did not. And one thing that I know that we want to be able to work on and address is making sure that we have a world-class public education system is imperative. Everything that we are trying to accomplish, we need to have a world-class public education system to help us to get there. The fact that there is not the level of coordination between the Department of Education and the governor's office is something that needs to be fixed. It's something that needs to be addressed, where it is an independent body.
Well, the governor was questioned on the topic again today on WBAL Radio.
I said, and I stand by the idea that we also have to make sure there's a greater level of coordination of what's happening between MSDE and the governor's office, where MSDE is an independent agency. It's an independent standalone agency with its own board and its own accountability measures. I understand that. I respect that. I also, though, know that what is going to be incredibly important in all of this is that measure of partnership that we are excited to engage in.
The president of the State Board of Education, Clarence Crawford, also telling Fox 45 News that he didn't know the data was going to be changed. Today, Fox 45 sent both President Crawford and Governor Moore an email asking when they became aware the data was removed and redacted. We also asked how they became aware, and we are still waiting on their responses tonight. Baltimore's youth curfew soon will go into effect, and while the plan has yet to be released, some believe the mandate could put officers at risk. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell spoke to officers as they prepare for yet another potentially violent gathering involving teens.
A post to social media encouraging young people to gather here at Mondawmin Mall and, quote, bring the drama. Baltimore police say they are aware and have officers here on standby, including MTA. So far, none of that activity that we've seen. Just yesterday here near the mall, there was a large fight involving young people. In that case, a witness says an officer was even punched in the face. It's the latest incident, and the city struggles to find solutions to its juvenile crime crisis. Just 4 months into 2023, and already there have been 10 juvenile homicides and more than 30 young people shot. That includes the 2 teens at the Inner Harbor Easter Sunday, which prompted Mayor Brandon Scott to announce a citywide youth curfew starting Memorial Day weekend. But former Baltimore Police Deputy Commissioner Jason Johnson is critical of that idea. He says not only does BPD not have the manpower to enforce a curfew, but believes in doing so will actually put officers at risk. Still no word on when that curfew plan will be released. In Baltimore, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Well, 2 Baltimore firefighters are hurt after their fire truck was stolen today. It happened this morning in East Baltimore. Police say a 30-year-old man experiencing a behavioral health crisis entered the fire truck and released the brake. He didn't go too far, though, before he was stopped. The 2 firefighters were treated for minor injuries, and the man was taken to the hospital for an evaluation. Making headlines tonight, a 17-year-old turning himself in for a shooting last week in Cherry Hill. The victim, a 16-year-old who was shot in the head. He remains in critical but stable condition. Baltimore police say the 17-year-old boy with his mother and lawyer owned up to the shooting yesterday. He's now facing attempted murder charges. In Anne Arundel County, an Odenton man facing attempted murder charges after police say he fired his rifle at dirt bikers. Ryan Gerald says he was called by a property manager to respond to dirt bikers apparently trespassing. Police say he confronted them, fired 2 rounds, striking one of the bikes. Gerald's charges include attempted murder and false imprisonment. And in Laurel, horse racing will return to the racetrack tomorrow. All races were suspended after 5 horses died this month following injuries sustained while on the track. This week, the Maryland Horse Racing Commission held a meeting to assess the track's safety, and the Maryland Jockey Club promised to review its annual safety and care standards. This is not the first time the track has been closed down due to animal safety concerns.
The NFL draft continues, and the Ravens feel like big winners after key moves that will shape the team's future. They re-signed star QB Lamar Jackson to a 5-year deal, grabbing draft headlines yesterday. They also picked up Zay Flowers, a talented wide receiver from Boston College. Flowers was introduced at the team facilities this afternoon. He's not the prototype 6-foot-plus receiver many teams want, but he's incredibly fast and could be part of a deep field threat team with Rashad Bateman and who else? OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Flowers says he's excited.
I think with Lamar and the guys on the outside, we got something special and we can build here and we can get back to what Baltimore Ravens was. The last time I visited here, we barely even talked about football. It was just everybody in the building was genuine. A lot of the places I went to, I had to put on a kind of like a front. And when I got here, it was just, everything was just pure. It was just genuine. I was playing basketball, beat a couple people. But I enjoyed that visit.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing what you can do as well, Zay. By the way, you can see Morgan Adsett's full one-on-one interview with Flowers on foxbaltimore.com. Let's see how fans feel about the way the Ravens use their number 22 overall pick. Let's see this from the Baltimore Ravens themselves. With the 22nd pick, we have selected wide receiver Zay Flowers. Welcome to Baltimore. Everybody's saying that right now. Welcome to Baltimore, Zay. People are loving seeing him here. Such a great pick, somebody else says. And here from OBJ himself, Odell Beckham Jr., ooh-wee. That's going to be because you won't be able to see him running down that field. He's going to be moving so fast. Well, rounds 2 and 3 get underway tonight. No second rounder for the Ravens, but they do hold the number 86 pick in the 3rd round. We'll see what happens.
All right, thank you, Kai. Supreme Court justices pushing back on the idea that someone needs to be overseeing them. Their response to calls for more accountability with the ongoing ethics scandal. Are Americans paying up or checking out? Looking into the impact of social media websites beginning to charge users for key services. Measures that would have severely restricted abortion failed in two GOP-controlled states, Nebraska and South Carolina. In Nebraska, the Heartbeat Act, which would have banned abortion after 6 weeks, failed. Nebraska Governor Jim Pellin said he was profoundly disappointed in the vote, calling for the bill to be reconsidered. In South Carolina, the Human Life Protection Act, which would have banned abortion, completely failed in a slim 22-21 vote. That bill will now be carried over into next year's session. All 9 Supreme Court justices are opposing more oversight of their conduct. The High Court faces mounting pressure to address its procedures for handling conflicts of interest after potential violations by Justices Clarence Thomas and Neil Gorsuch. Now, the justices say they'll voluntarily adhere to a general code of conduct, but reject legislation proposed by Democrats trying to impose the same ethics obligations on Supreme Court justices as all other federal judges. Congress is split on the proposal.
In my view, we should consider issuing subpoenas for Supreme Court justices, whether it is Justice Thomas or someone else, but also for other evidence.
Neither branch of the government has authority over the other branch. So my hope is that the Chief Justice and the judiciary take note of some of the controversies that have occurred and take care of this matter themselves.
According to Gallup polling, public confidence in the Supreme Court is at its lowest in more than 2 decades.
Right now, you're taking a look over Baltimore and over Towson. You can't see much. We've got a lot of rain around the region, all associated with our next weather maker, and that's going to have an impact on your weekend forecast as we continue to deal with this system. Right now, we're keeping track of showers on the HD radar. Most of the moderate heavy rain is on the eastern shore and north of the state line, but still we have some light rain moving across the state, and this is going to continue over the next several hours. If you're planning on driving anywhere tonight, make sure that you add some extra time to account for the rain. Also, there will be areas of ponding and possibly some minor flooding in low-lying areas. Make sure that you're driving safely and turn around if you do come to flooded waters. We're watching this warm front as it lifts to the north. That's what's leading to the rain. We'll have a cold front that follows, and as a result, lower temperatures next week. We'll have this rain continue overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then we get a break from the rain. We'll dry out. However, tomorrow night and then into Sunday, we've got another round of rain and possible storms. That's followed by dry weather on Monday. You really can't see much outside over Baltimore right now. Our visibility is low, and fog will play a factor into the forecast tonight. Temperatures currently sit at 53, and we've got the 50s around the state. As we head into the night, we'll drop a couple more degrees, staying above average, but the rain again playing a big role in that forecast. Notice once we get to around midnight, the rain becomes a little more spotty, and it continues for several more hours. Then around 7, 8 o'clock, we'll wake up to mostly cloudy skies. By the afternoon, our temperatures reach the 60s. We remain mostly cloudy but dry, and then overnight and into Sunday, the rain returns. We could be waking up to areas of heavy rain. Expect more showers and possible storms by the afternoon as we get ready for the next weather maker. We'll gradually start to see the rain taper as we head into Monday. Then we're looking at a nice and mostly dry day. We're under this slight risk for excessive rainfall. That's for all of the areas in yellow, moderate risk for areas in, or general risk for areas in green. Just make sure that you are driving safely. We've already seen over ½ an inch of rain, and we expect those totals to increase, possibly greater than 2 inches tomorrow, and then even higher totals through Sunday, possibly greater than 3 inches of rain. Again, tonight we drop to 53 with showers continuing. Then we're looking at our high temperatures reaching the mid-60s tomorrow with cloudy skies. Coming up, I'll have a look at what you can expect next week and when more rain will return in the exclusive 10-day forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Have you ever seen a rainbow this bright? It was taken Thursday afternoon in Lake Hamilton, Arkansas, southwest of Little Rock, and we are told it is unedited. A great blue heron, known as Fred, strikes a pose along a Gulf Shores, Alabama beach. And from earlier this week, time-lapse video showing lenticular clouds passing over Washington's Mount Rainier.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
Subscription services. I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. The renewed effort from social media companies to attract paid subscribers and how those efforts might be turning some users away.
Well, big tech has been rocked with layoffs, turning to users to generate revenue. The National Desk's Angela Brown explains.
Instead of paying for a blue check on Twitter, some users are checking out.
Having that blue check mark now is almost like a badge of dishonor.
Twitter Blue, $8 a month. Twitter also charging for API access. Before, it was free. Accounts that automatically send out tweet reminders is one way API is used. Adam Aziri, digital marketing expert.
Twitter is, I think, making a good move by charging for API access.
Others pushing for API exemptions for public service accounts like the National Weather Service. NOAA releasing this statement to the National Weather Desk just days ago. Without this automated process, it would take minutes for forecasters to manually prepare warning information into a tweet. Sinclair Chief Meteorologist Ed Piotrowski explains why.
The problem is if the API goes away, now the forecaster has to literally sit and take several minutes to construct a warning tweet and send it out. And that's not good because, as we all know, just a few seconds can mean the difference between life and death when it comes to especially tornadoes and very strong storms.
But it's not just Twitter. Social media getting pricier across the board. Meta launching a version of a paid verification subscription service. Snapchat also introducing subscription services last year.
The market's really tough for tech companies. There's a huge capital crunch amongst the banks. This is a money grab.
CNN is reporting that officials said earlier this month that Twitter has informed the National Weather Service there are no plans for exemptions to the new rules that will limit the number of tweets that can be sent from automated accounts that do not pay extra. Online tech website Wired says one enterprise package, for example, could cost $42,000 a month. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
We've got more rain on the way.